Welcome back to In The Slant. Today's video is being recorded on January 24th, and today we're going to be going over the divisional round, talking about some questions that we have for some of these teams, and we got the question today as always. Today I'm only joined by Dustin. Jared is not with us today, but let's get straight into divisional round and let's talk playoff football. Divisional weekend opened up, Chiefs versus Jaguars, and just real quickly about all these games, I'm going to be honest, this weekend was a little disappointing for football. I don't know. For some reason, the games were just kind of to me, I guess, if that makes sense. The only game that really had me on like the edge of my seat was the Cowboys and 49ers. I don't know. That's just kind of how I felt.
I don't know. For some reason, I felt like that game was even boring for me. Like it wasn't. I know the game wasn't terrible itself, or for some reason, I even went out and watched it with some friends, but it wasn't. It was definitely the best game of the weekend, but it wasn't even like that good of a game to me. But
yeah, it was just. It starts with Chiefs versus Jaguars. Now the Jaguars, I will say, had a ton of chances. It felt like to win this game, especially when Mahomes went down for a second there. But their backup quarterback came in and led a 98-yard drive, and I was like, okay, the Jags aren't winning this game.
Yeah, that was insane. The Jags defense looked awful. I mean, no way that Chad Henne, is that his name, right? Or
yeah,
whatever.
Chad
Henne goes out there and goes for 98 yards on you.
5 for 7, 23 yards, 1 touchdown. So Chad Henne came in from the 2-yard line and led a touchdown drive while Mahomes was in the locker room. So can't allow that to happen.
I'm scared about Mahomes though, but we'll get into that later. That did not look good.
Yeah, it didn't look good at all. It almost was similar to Tony Pollard's tackle, but Mahomes was thankfully okay, and he actually played in the second half as well. But Trevor Lawrence, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Travis Etienne, I don't even think played the fourth quarter, which was kind of weird to me. But Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram all had decent games. I honestly, like I said, I thought the Jags were going to win this game, or I thought they had a chance, especially since as soon as Mahomes went down, I was like, dang, this could be a game where the Jags steal it here. But unfortunately, they just kind of never really got there. I don't know. It just never felt like the Chiefs were going to lose, honestly.
I don't know. Like, I feel like every time the Jags like look like they had a chance, they're like, every time, because I feel like there's a few chances they had to like score here and there, and like they would always choke or like just get stopped. So then I was like, so like I feel like every time there was opportunity, they would just choke or it just wouldn't happen. So I was like, this game's not gonna be close at all or anything like that.
Yeah, they had a fumble and I know they had an interception, which was or I think JaMychal Hasty is the one that fumbled, and then Trevor Lawrence had a timely interception as well, with just. Yeah, I mean, when you turn on the football against the Chiefs, it usually doesn't lead to good things.
And but the thing is too is like they should have taken advantage of it, because like I'm not saying like yeah, go after Patrick Mahomes because he's like injured, but at the same time he's injured, so like. And I feel like they weren't putting like any pressure on him or anything. Like even after obviously he wasn't making any crazy plays like you would see Patrick Mahomes making, but that was obviously gonna happen. Like obviously not gonna be able to run out there and do sideways throws running or anything. But
one thing to take away is Kelsey, I think, set like the single season, or I think he set like a playoff tie for receptions in a game.
Yeah,
14 receptions, 98 yards, and 2 touchdowns, which was crazy. Kelsey was just getting fed the ball. Kadarius Toney was the only other one that had over 2 receptions for the team other than Kelsey, and that was because Juju had 2, Toney with 5 receptions. Well, overall, the Jaguars, I mean, they have a lot to be happy about this season. I mean, even though they lost the way they did, and they came in, they only lost by 7, so it's not like they got blown out or anything, but they should feel very happy with how the season went. I don't think anyone really expected
them to make it. Plus, like, I don't know, I feel like if you're the Jags right now, if you're a Jags fan, you just think about maybe bolstering up the O-line a tiny bit and then just focusing the rest on defense, and like your team is solid. Because like if Trevor Lawrence can keep on improving and the O-line can protect him, like he's gonna have the weapons to keep on throwing the ball. And Travis Etienne is definitely a good running back, and he is looking good for the future for at least the next few years. So.
Yeah, I mean, they went out and spent a bunch of money in free agency, and some of us probably questioned a little bit of it, especially the Christian Kirk contract. We were all
well,
like,
that
what
one
are
I
they doing?
I still don't know about that.
No,
contract.
I mean, he played pretty good this season.
He didn't
though.
play bad. But Christian Kirk's always been a consistent receiver.
But I think for $17 million now, that's kind of a steal for how he played. I don't know. Maybe it's not a steal.
Christian Kirk broke the wide receiver market. That's all I gotta say.
He did for a second, but he played good. So
yeah.
I mean, it's not like they totally wasted his money or wasted their money.
And Zay Jones, he had his games where he looked.
Yeah,
good
he looked pretty good too. He actually became.
Shout out to Derek Carr making all these people get paid. Like shout out to Derek Carr.
No, but you could be like Kenny Galladay, like the Giants. They paid him and he didn't do nothing. At least Christian Kirk actually did something.
Well, at least he did something in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, but overall, Kenny Galladay will probably get cut. Not that really matters. I guess speaking of the Giants, we can move on to this game. This game just from the jump just sucked. I mean, the Eagles just jumped on them early, and I was just having a hard time staying focused on the game with how boring it was, to be honest with you. Like, I'm really happy for the Giants how far they came, obviously, but they came into Philly, and Philadelphia just looked like the superior team.
I can't believe I picked the Giants. That I thought the Giants were gonna win this game.
You did? Did you pick? I didn't realize you actually picked the Giants. That's funny.
I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I was high, and then I remembered about how like I even know this that the Vikings defense is terrible because I always talk about it with my buddy. But I don't know why I thought the Giants were looking like I thought they were looking good. I was like, dude, Daniel Jones is looking good. If he goes into next week like this, that maybe they have a chance. But hell no.
I get it. You're riding the hot wave. I mean, they looked amazing against the Vikings.
But then I should remember the Vikings defense is fucking awful.
That's true. Yeah, Daniel Jones is very underwhelming. 135 yards, 15 for 27. Had an interception, which he's been pretty good at not turning over the football this year. Saquon only 9 carries. Had 2 receptions as well. But yeah, overall, the Giants really couldn't get anything going. Jalen Hurts didn't even have to do too much. He had 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, not even a ton of throwing yards. And then rushing-wise, Hurts had 9 carries for 34 yards. Kenneth Gainwell, 112 yards. And I know a bunch of Giants fans don't like Boston Scott. He always scores touchdowns on them, and he did that again. But yeah, overall, this game was just kind of a snooze fest. I mean, James Bradbury got interception on his former team as well, which was where that one interception came from. But not talking about the game too much. Again, just like we said with the Jaguars, I mean, the Giants have a lot to be optimistic about still with how far they came. I mean, no one would have thought. Just like the Jaguars, no one would have thought that about the Giants either. So a lot to be excited about there. But talking about the Giants and their offseason, how much do you think Daniel Jones deserves? Like, how much do you think he'll get paid?
I think if he wants to do a team-friendly deal, probably like 30 to 35 million would be like I don't know.
That's a lot. I feel like
that's what he's gonna get. I don't know. Derek Carr was getting like 33, and I'd rather have Daniel Jones than Derek Carr.
Really?
I think I don't know. I feel like Daniel Jones opens up a playbook a little bit more.
Oh, okay. I mean that's an interesting take from you, Dustin. And not.
I mean, I'm not hating on Derek Carr. Like I think Derek Carr's better than Dak Prescott and stuff. I don't know if Derek Carr's better than Daniel Jones.
So yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see. I think Daniel Jones will be back with the Giants. There are some rumors about him going to the Commanders.
What do you think he's gonna get paid, real quick? Actually, that suggests me.
I would say 20 to 25.
Really? I feel like that's low. That's kind of where I'm leaning towards. Paid, Brady. That's what receivers are getting
That's true. I don't know. I feel like him and Geno are like kind of in the similar ballpark to me. Where I mean, you're gonna pay them, but it's just like I don't think you want to overpay them like you'd pay like a Aaron Rodgers or something. If that makes sense. So. But moving on to the next game, because like I said, the Giants versus Eagles was not a lot to take away from it, unfortunately. Shout out to Giants how far they came, and then obviously shout out to the Eagles for some teams come off the bye and they suck, but Eagles were just ready to go right away.
And shout out to Daniel Jones. I mean, I don't know how you did it. You're finally in your last year of your contract. You decided to ball out. Congratulations. I mean,
Brian Dable effect.
Yeah, I can't believe the team stuck with you for this long, because most teams probably would have given up on you after the second year of you playing like that. But hey, they rode through because of Eli Manning and Peyton Manning sticking up for you. So congratulations, and you proving yourself.
Shout out Denny Dimes. This game was super disappointing. Sunday's games where I was like, okay, Saturday's games, they were mid. Especially, like I said, Eagles, Giants sucked. I was like, okay, we get Bengals and Bills today, and then we got Niners, Cowboys. These 2 games are going to be the most competitive games of the weekend, and the Bills just went out there and they sucked.
Yeah, they sucked, honestly.
27-10. A lot of people were coming out and saying that the Bengals had an advantage because they were wearing white jerseys in the snow. I mean, I think that's kind of stupid to say. Like, I don't know, Joe Burrow just looks amazing. He is hot right now. The Bengals have been hot. The Bills, on the other hand, like, it's just so disappointing seeing them play. Only put up 10 points is crazy to me because that just doesn't make sense.
And, like, you would think because, like, the snow that it would, like, slow down the passing game. Joe Burrow literally instantly throwing, like, he instantly threw that long touchdown to Jamar Chase, like, off rip, like, first drive. I'm like, dude, what? Like, the snow, you'd think it would be more of a running game, but then nope, Joe Burrow just throws a freaking touchdown.
Yeah,
like,
he literally 23-36, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns. Should have had a third one, but they took away the Jamar Chase touchdown, which I thought was a touchdown, but I guess I understood why they turned it over because he kind of, like, didn't have full control of the ball.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
But Joe Mixon, 20 carries, 105 yards, 1 touchdown. But, Joe Burrow really spread the wealth this weekend. 5 receptions for Chase, 5 receptions for Hurst, 5 from P. Ryan, 3 from T. Higgins. The Bengals, like I said, were just all over them, and it'll be fun to see Bengals versus Chiefs, of course. But Josh Allen, very underwhelming game. 25 of 42, 265 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. He also had 8 carries. The Bills had no type of running game in this game at all. I would assume the Bills are going to address a running back position or start running the ball maybe with James Cook a little bit more.
I haven't really done my research on this draft, but are there any like good rookie running backs, or you think they just go off on like Tony Pollard or like?
There's one guy that's overhyped. I don't know a ton about college football either, but Bijan Robinson is this guy that everyone is just super ecstatic about. So maybe.
But the Bills probably don't even have a high enough pick to get him.
Well, it just kind of depends because running backs. I mean,
yeah.
So I don't know if a team is going to draft a running back that high.
Because who's like the big free agent running backs, like Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs.
He's
coming back though. So
Imagine Josh Jacobs in Buffalo.
Oh god.
Yeah, Pollard, Josh Jacobs, and Saquon is a free agent, but I don't think he'll go anywhere. So
he carried the Giants.
I mean, maybe they just run it with James Cook a little bit more. They keep trying to get running
I'm
backs.
sorry, but dude, no, their running backs are just nutted.
Yeah, I don't really like any of them either. I mean, might as well just go for a guy you can actually hand the ball off. Like Singletary's okay. They traded for Nyheim Hines. They didn't really use him. He was in the special teams, as a returner. But now I saw some other people saying that the Bills really went into last year and talked about how they only had Stephon Diggs, John Brown, and Cole Beasley. And they said, yeah, let's run it back with this. But, I mean, I think that was really unfair because Gabe Davis was, like, really emerging in that playoff game against the Chiefs. 4 touchdowns. So they were, like, saying that the Bills really didn't give, Josh Allen weapons to throw to, which I highly disagree with.
Stephon Diggs alone is more than what a lot of teams have.
Exactly. And then, like I said, Gabe Davis, he was really disappointing this season. I'll say that. But I thought for sure he was going to have like a breakout year for them. And he had some good games, don't get me wrong. But overall,
he's kind of like a Tyler Lockett where Tyler Lockett started to heat up towards the end of the year, but he was like the Tyler Lockett where he would have his big games and then he would just be like.
Yeah, and he dropped a lot of passes this year too. So overall, I mean, how you fix Von Miller, not having Von Miller really sucked for them as well. Their pass rush, I saw a stat went from like, top 15 or whatever it was down to like bottom 5 after Von Miller got hurt. So that clearly doesn't help you when you don't have Von Miller on the field. So, and Von Miller also said their Super Bowl window is still open, which I agree with. I'm not saying that the Bills don't have that window, but I think a lot of us expected the Bills to at least be in the AFC Championship this year. Because a lot of us even predicted them go to the damn Super Bowl. I mean, like
they were taking the whole thing.
I did too, especially with DeMar Hamlin situation, that emotional ride alone as well. On top of that, I thought this team would be playing with so much passion. And
honestly, this might be crazy for me to say. I did not care what NFC team made it. If the Bills made it, they were gonna be my favorites. So that's what I thought was making the AFC. But now it's kind of scaring me because, I don't know. I feel like, obviously, a hot Joe Burrow. I feel like it's going to be Joe Burrow, but a hot Joe Burrow against either the 49ers or Eagles defense, that's so scary. Dude. That's the 2 of the best defenses in the league, basically, on the NFC side.
Yeah, and not to take away from the Bengals either, because the Bills just played horrible. The Bengals defense was all over them. But it is definitely really impressive to see Burrow in the AFC Championship 2 years in a row. I mean, obviously, he could be Super Bowl 2 years in a row as well. But that is super impressive. Joe Burrow, is really good. I mean, he is the definition of a franchise quarterback, which, some Commanders fans have been complaining because we had the 2nd overall pick. We took Chase Young right after Joe Burrow. But if we would have lost against the Giants, back then, we would have had the 1st overall pick. And maybe we draft Joe Burrow and things are different for us. But it doesn't really matter at this point.
Brady, 1 win cost you guys Joe Burrow.
And, Chase Young has been injured for the most of the time. But, yeah, overall, the Bills, I think the biggest thing the Bills need to focus on is just getting healthy, obviously, maybe address some O-line issues, and get a running back. Get a legit running back, unless if James Cook is someone you believe in.
Don't get me wrong, Devin Singletary is a solid backup option, and I think you keep Devin Singletary as your number 2 for sure, but he is not a number 1 worthy running back to me, and you need someone that can hand the ball off to
20 times.
Plays.
Hand him 20 times a game, someone you can actually trust, because Singletary, only 6 carries, 24 yards. I mean, sure, game script probably helped with that, but yeah. The Bills, for the most part, throw first offense, as we know. But overall, I would love to see them with a legitimate running back who could actually, kind of help out a little bit more. So, yeah, shout out to the Bengals. Bills, you'll be back, but definitely disappointing to see you guys play the way you did. I will say that.
Sorry, Josh Allen, and sorry, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, and Eli Apple has been all over Twitter, not to mention
Eli Apple, you are so bad.
Dude. Yeah, I mean,
you turn up a little bit in playoffs, but other than that, you are not a good
he's talking a little too much for my liking.
Yeah, he always does.
I just don't agree with it, but The last game of the weekend, Cowboys versus 49ers. This game, like I said, had me on the edge of my seat, but maybe that was just because inside of me, I'm like, I just really want the Cowboys to lose because it's just what I root for. Sorry, it's just kind of how I am. I just don't like the Cowboys too much. But I do give credit when it's due. But to this game, Dak Prescott went from playing great in Tampa back to bad Dak Prescott. He had a timely interception. He almost had a pick six when they were on that last drive. Dre Greenlaw dropped it. But yeah, Dak, I think overall was the issue in this game. I think, the defense did what you held the 49ers to 19 points.
That's good.
That's what you want your defense to do, especially with the amount of weapons the 49ers have. So I think you feel good about that. The Cowboys, they have a great offense, and, clearly the Niners do have a good defense. Don't get me wrong. But 12 points is kind of unacceptable when your defense is putting up, or, holding the other team to 19.
Yeah, definitely. And, another thing, too, is, especially when Dak Prescott plays like he did against Tampa Bay, and then he goes into this game, and he literally, I'm not even trying to, disrespect anybody. This game was so boring to me, and literally the reason for it was literally because Dak Prescott looked so bad. I don't get how you can go from playing one of the best games of your career, literally, I was even impressed by it, to going back to how you've been playing, which is I literally think Dak Prescott is the most mediocre quarterback in the league. He's not even a top 15 quarterback in my opinion. He's not even close. He might not even be top 20, Brady. That's how bad. I don't even know. I don't know.
Yeah, the Cowboys, they have some problems to address this offseason, in my opinion. The biggest thing is Tony Pollard needs to be re-signed. Obviously, we don't know how bad his injury is as far as if he'll miss time next year. That's way too early to tell. But you have CeeDee Lamb. I honestly also think the Cowboys could use another good wide receiver. Michael Gallup was very underwhelming, and people will point to them trading away Amari Cooper. Clearly, they tried to save some money and gave it to Gallup, which he had 0 receptions for 0 yards in this game. But I will say he did have a touchdown, but Dak overthrew him or didn't even throw it in the right spot. There was a couple times Dak didn't throw the ball in the right spot. I think he had Hilton for a touchdown at one point, and Gallup as well. If he throws it to the numbers instead of inside the numbers, he clearly had a touchdown, and he just, I don't know, Dak just looked like it just didn't look good in this game at all. And like I said, they were driving. That first drive, I think they went up 7-0 if I'm not mistaken, or 6-0 because their extra kick, it was 3-6, my apologies, 3-0, and then they went up 6-3. Then Brett Maher's extra point got blocked, and then I think there was a 9-9 game at half or something like that, or 6-9 or whatever. Or yeah, I think it was 9-6 San Fran because they got a field goal. But overall, Dak, they were driving at one point in the red zone. He throws a timely interception that tips to Fred Warner. Ezekiel Elliott, 10 carries for 26 yards. Zeke is just, his contract is so bad, it's not even funny. I think he has 3 years left on it, and it's a $20 million cap hit, and you can only save $4 million by cutting it away. So Zeke is probably,
and no team's trading for him.
Yeah, no one's trading for Zeke at this point. I think you definitely got to keep Pollard. They've already talked about maybe franchise tagging him, which is kind of crazy to think about, but that's the point they're in.
Yeah, because I feel like when you franchise tag it, if I'm not mistaken, it's almost 13 to 14 million you have to pay that running back.
Yeah, so franchise tagging running backs I don't think is as bad as if you're franchise tagging a quarterback or wide receiver. Even tight ends don't even cost that much to franchise tag either, which Schultz is a free agent as well. They franchise tagged him this year, and he played under the franchise tag. But yeah, Ezekiel Elliott, and then, Dak Prescott. I don't think the Cowboys walk in with a different quarterback next year. I think they're just going to roll with Dak. That's just how Jerry Jones rolls, it feels like. I don't really see this team changing that much. That's all I got to say. I don't
think so either.
Zeke will probably be back with his contract situation. But
I saw someone say, the Cowboys are going to trade for Derek Carr. And I'm like, you guys I'll be mad if we got Dak Prescott somehow.
Why would Dak come to the Raiders? I don't see that happening. Dak to the Raiders, and yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me.
I'd be mad.
I would say the Cowboys could use another wide receiver. I will say that. Unless if Gallup can play better next year, which, he can. They paid him a decent contract. They had some rumors about Odell Beckham. Maybe he would sign with them. I don't know. Is Odell just going to sign with whatever team makes it to the Super Bowl? We haven't even heard anything about that in a while.
I don't know if you want to do that because obviously look what happened to the Rams after they won the Super Bowl. So I don't know if that's the move.
That's true. Brock Purdy, though, didn't have a touchdown or interception this game. And to me, he was making some very impressive throws. Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan said it himself. He's one of the most poised rookies he's ever, coached. And I agree. Some of the throws Brock Purdy was making is just something I don't really expect to see out of a rookie, and let alone a guy who was the last pick in the draft. So I'm very impressed with how Brock Purdy played in this game. with the stakes, especially against the Cowboys defense, who have Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence. Their pass rush is nasty. But 14 carries for 51 yards for Mitchell, 10 carries and 35 yards for McCaffrey. Brock Purdy only threw it 29 times. George Kittle had an amazing game. At one point, he had like a tip drill catch that was super impressive. Debo, only 4 receptions for 45 yards. Didn't do anything too crazy. Debo did have 4 carries for 11 yards. But overall, like I said, the 49ers are going on to the NFC Championship, and the Cowboys have a lot to think about because, I don't know, has their window of Super Bowl to you closed?
Brady, if Dak Prescott's the person under center next year, they're not winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with that. I mean, unless Dak is going to...
And you're paying Zeke. I'm sorry, but I'm not saying Michael Gallup's an overpay because obviously Michael Gallup can easily become a good wide receiver again and make it worth the money. But if Michael Gallup keeps on playing like he is, that's 2 players you are already overpaying as a motherfucker. And you got to still build a team around it and you're still paying Dak Prescott too. And he's not even a quarterback that's like, if he literally played like he did against the Bucs every week, that dude would be literally like, we'd be talking about him as like the Joe Burrows and all of them, like a young quarterback that has like potential, but he can never play consistent. He always plays like he did against the 49ers and
and Commanders.
And the Commanders, like that's
too.
So like I don't know, this team I just never expect much from the Cowboys. Like I always say I pray for their demise, but like obviously I know it's coming, so I don't even know why you know what I mean? I don't even gotta pray for it. I just know that's just coming.
I get that. But I mean at this point, Brock Purdy, I think, unless he does anything dumb coming soon, I think he's the starter next year.
I know people are saying that they could trade Trey Lance if they really wanted to.
I think they should just keep him though as their backup. I mean, they've had injury problems. Might as well. They've started 3 different quarterbacks this year, so might as well just keep Trey Lance just in case.
Well, what if they give something crazy for him?
I mean, if a team is willing to give you like something crazy for Lance, I'm trading him. But if you're gonna sell low on him, I don't think it's worth it.
Like, what do you think a team goes up for Trey Lance right now?
I think at most a team would give up a 3rd. I think that's the highest I could see.
I would maybe see like a 2nd, but it'd be like a low 2nd.
It's almost kind of reminds me of Jordan Love too, in a way, where Jordan Love will either be starting on a team or he will be with the Green Bay Packers still, depending on what Rodgers does, obviously. Trey Lance could be moved as well. So those are 2 young quarterbacks to keep an eye on this offseason as guys that could be moved.
I'm honestly kind of hyped for this offseason. There's a lot of people or a lot of players that are going to be very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited. We are going to get into some more offseason stuff, but that's going to wait for another week. Next, we got to talk about who we think is going to the bowl, baby. Who's going to the Super Bowl? All right, Sunday, we got the NFC and the AFC championship games. We have the 49ers and the Eagles, the Bengals versus Chiefs rematch here, which is really exciting. So, I mean, just overall, let's just start with the early game. 49ers versus Eagles, 2 o'clock p.m. I mean, what is you don't even have to make your prediction yet. What is your biggest question in this game for both sides, if you have one? Mine, I would say, is how good will Brock Purdy play against the Eagles defense? I will say that because they've been very good all year. And then same thing on the other side, Jalen Hurts. How will he play? How will the 49ers game plan for Jalen Hurts?
I feel like that is the question. But also another thing that I have a question mark about is just the Eagles run game, like the running back game. And like against, obviously, Christian McCaffrey is like, I don't know, that's the thing that's like kind of scaring me because I feel like low-key it's going to get to a point where like, I don't know, like you're going to have a lead and just be a bunch of like run games. And like you don't want the 49ers to get the lead because it's a lot more scary if CMC's running the ball over and over again versus, is it Miles Sanders still, right? Or,
yeah, Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I mean,
they got Kenneth Gainwell. They run a bunch of guys. Jalen Hurts.
So that's what I was saying. That's why I said Miles Sanders a question mark because I was like, I know they'd be running everybody.
Yeah, so Boston Scott, like I said, got some rushes last week, so they'd be running anyone. But overall, who do we think is?
Wait, and I forgot to say, Eli Mitchell did look really good last week too. So like, that's 2 49 running backs that, and I'm not even trying to disrespect. I think Eli Mitchell's better than any of the running backs on the Eagles.
Yeah, the 49ers, we already know their weapons are absolutely stacked.
Yeah.
Ayuk is their worst wide receiver, or no, not worst, or the worst weapon, I guess, out of all those stacked weapons, and he's even damn good.
Yeah.
So
I've always loved Brandon Ayuk.
He's underrated as hell in my opinion. So Ayuk passes the eye test like crazy. He's always making great plays.
Yeah, definitely.
For me though, who I think is going to win this game, this is going to be in Philadelphia. So the Philadelphia fans, as we know, will be rowdy. But I think Kyle Shanahan gets back to the Super Bowl. I'm going to go with the 49ers. I'm going to rock with the 49ers beating the Eagles.
I am also going 49ers because honestly, I'm sick of these Eagle fans, honestly.
That's the only reason?
Yeah, that's it.
I think for me, the reason being for me is I think the 49ers defense is going to step up against Jalen Hurts.
And I guess the reason I explained earlier too would be mine is that the running back game for the Eagles, I'm just a question mark on.
And I think Brock Purdy shows up. He's not giving me any reason to doubt him just yet. This will be the biggest, test here, I will say, and it'll be interesting to see how he plays. If he's been playing like he has, they'll be just fine.
I feel like this is going to be one of the. I mean, both these matchups are good. It's a little iffy depending on what news on the late night game, but this early game is definitely going to be a nice defensive battle. But you also have two offensives.
I expect a low-scoring game for sure. This one,
but you also have two offenses that can make play. You got AJ Brown. That's about. I mean, you got
true.
AJ Brown
That's
and Smith, and you already know what the 49ers are going to get.
I would take the under, whatever Vegas.
I don't even know what the score prediction is. But I think 49ers take it like Brady does, and I would take the under because I think it's going to be a somewhat low-scoring game.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Brock, I mean, the 49ers, all they've ever needed was a quarterback that didn't turn over the football, and Brock Purdy has done a great job so far. So, but Brock Purdy has been getting some hype in the media for sure. So, hopefully it doesn't get to his head and he goes out there and plays good football, and the 49ers might be in the Super Bowl.
But I guess that's another thing that I want to talk about too about what you were saying is like imagine they like trade Trey Lance and like after this 1 year like Brock Purdy somehow goes and wins the Super Bowl and like he just like
Nick Foles, like a Nick Foles story.
Yeah, and then like literally they had Trey Lance and then he comes in and starts balling. So at the same time I get why you wouldn't want to trade Trey Lance. But
would you want Trey Lance on the Raiders? I think I would take him on the Commanders. It's a mystery, I guess. I mean,
I don't. He's done stuff that's like Josh McDaniels is a good coach, but like I don't know. I feel like I want a rookie or like a younger quarterback, but at the same time, like I'm also scared because Josh McDaniels controls too much, and like at least if it's like Tom Brady or Jimmy G, they'd probably like talk back to him and like put in their input. But like these young rookies are just gonna like listen to him. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I'm just iffy about what to do with.
Trey Lance is such a small sample size, so I don't think we really know what he is yet. And
what we saw with him, like I'm not gonna say was like it wasn't terrible, but like it wasn't very like.
One of the games was very rainy. Also, I will say that, so that might have.
Isn't that when he got injured? Was during that rainy game?
No, I think he got hurt the very next week. I think, or maybe the week after that. I'm not sure, but. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Trey Lance, but we got the 49ers. The next game, Bengals versus Chiefs. I know you said you're going to wait on some news, but come on. Unless you're talking about Mahomes, he's playing, in my opinion.
I mean, I think he's playing, but that's not...
What are you worried about? Let's go with that.
That he's not going to be fully healthy, and he's not going to be able to even compete with
I can understand that.
Because I'm sorry, the Bengals defense is definitely better than the Chiefs defense, in my opinion. The running back, I mean, Joe Mixon's definitely better. Weapons, Bengals are better. Like, everywhere I look besides tight end, the Bengals are better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That on paper, they're better. And Joe Burrow, I think, is like 3-0 or 4-0 against Mahomes, historically, including playoffs, as we know last year.
And this Bengals O-line that we thought was going to be pretty solid has finally been stepping up as of late. Like, they've definitely been playing way better.
They've been without Lyle Collins.
Yeah,
so. I mean... but overall, my biggest question is, the biggest question is how is Mahomes going to look? He played okay in the second half when he came back against
But he was
Jaguars.
definitely not
the same guy. I mean, Mahomes is always making some magical shit
happen. And they
say
this takes like 2 to 3 weeks minimum to heal usually. So, like, he's definitely going to be playing on an injured no matter what if he goes into it.
Yeah, he won't be fully healthy. So, but... I don't know. I have this weird feeling that the Chiefs are finally going to get one on Joe Burrow. But I'm hoping the Bengals win. I want to see Joe Burrow back in the Super Bowl, clearly. But I have a weird feeling that Mahomes is going to, or the Chiefs are going to win it for some reason.
So, if you guys didn't know, we actually live in Kansas. And as me being a Raider fan, I got to see Chiefs stuff way too much as is. And I never want to see the Chiefs win. So, obviously, I'm not saying that because I do hope that Patrick Mahomes can play somewhat healthy and is somewhat healthy so we can see a good offensive battle and then a good defensive battle in the day. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm definitely going to go Bengals. 1, because I'm a Chiefs hater. And 2, because I think overall, on paper, the Bengals team is better than the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think I got to go with you. I'm going to go with the Bengals as well. So Dustin and I are going to agree. If Mahomes was like 100% healthy, I might be picking Chiefs because like I said, the Bengals have beat them like 3 times the last 3 seasons or whatever it is, or 4 seasons, last 4 seasons, or not 4 seasons, last 4 times.
In the last 4 seasons. Or
so
whatever,
I feel like something's got to give. The Chiefs will eventually get one, right? So maybe this could be the time to eventually get one, and get this one would be big. You got obviously punch your ticket to the Super Bowl. I'm rooting for the Bengals. I have a weird feeling the Chiefs are going to win, but I'm going to pick the Bengals to win it. That's what I'm going to go with. Joe Burrow and the Bengals have been super hot, and with Mahomes maybe playing not fully healthy, I got to go with the Bengals winning this game.
I don't even know who. I don't even know who on the Chiefs can guard Jamar Chase. I'm sorry, I just don't even.
Well, Jerry Sneed, he's got it.
No, he doesn't.
Trent McDuffie, the rookie corner.
No.
So that would mean we have Bengals 49ers in the Super Bowl. That would be quite a fun one. I
don't even know who I choose on that one.
I don't know how to choose that, but wait to choose. I mean, who actually makes it?
Yeah, definitely.
Next week.
Because we could be completely wrong, and it could be Chiefs and
Eagles.
Yeah, Chiefs.
I'm actually kind of hoping it's not that, but I mean, like, I wouldn't mind if the Eagles won, but I am heavily rooting for the Bengals.
So since like obviously my favorites before was Josh Allen, but since Josh Allen got eliminated by Joe Burr, I gotta go with Joe Burr going all the way. So now he is my favorite to go all the way.
All right, go Bengals, go Niners. That's what we're picking.
Yep.
It is now time for your community question of the week. If you have a question, feel free to comment down below a question. That way we can go ahead and answer it for y'all. So this one comes from Anthony Dietrich. He asks, got a question for you guys. Fantasy football question. Who do you think will be the top 10 picks in order would be? I don't think we'll be able to name all 10 in order. That's going to be really tough. So just kind of think of some guys that, maybe didn't go in the first round this year, or just anyone. I mean, just think about guys that are going to go in the first round, clearly. I actually have some pulled up. That way we kind of don't forget anyone. Jacobs is going to go from drafted to whatever. He went from like 6th, 4th round, wherever he was drafted. I don't even remember. I know he wasn't going very high because when we were doing mock drafts like crazy, like we did, he was going super late.
Like 4th, 5th round.
Yeah, he was going late. Justin Jefferson will clearly be up there. Jamar Chase will be up there.
If we're just doing top 10, those three, so Josh Jacobs, Jamar, Justin Jefferson. Also, there's players like Tyreek Hill, probably top 10 somewhere. I'm not doing it exactly in order because it's I don't I would have Tyreek Hill this high, but maybe I would. Cooper Kupp, obviously, if healthy. He's top 5, or probably top 5 somewhere. I don't know.
McCaffrey, Eckler, Devontae.
Eckler, Devontae.
Kelsey will be in there probably.
Yeah, we can't forget Kelsey. Kelsey's definitely top 10.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of what I'm looking at.
There's one more. We got to name one more. We already got 9 players ready. We got to name one more.
There's another. Do you think Jonathan Taylor would go round 1 this time? He went overall 1. He was consensus 1.
Actually, I do. I don't know. I think he's definitely a first round pick, but I don't know if he's top 10.
Would you rather take Saquon or Jonathan Taylor?
Jonathan Taylor.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I think based off this last season, people would probably be picking Saquon, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I guess it depends who the Colts hire as head coach and also who's
because I feel like they're definitely going rookie. I feel like they'd be stupid not to, especially after everything that's happened. But maybe they just go for a vet. Maybe I don't know what they do, but we'll see.
Here's some other names. Kenneth Walker. I don't know if he goes round 1. They got CeeDee Lamb in here. Stephon Diggs
Diggs might be like my 10th spot.
Ramondre Stevenson. I don't know if he'd be a first rounder. Waddle could be in there maybe. Jalen Hurts. No, I don't think quarterback would go that high.
Yeah,
so.
You don't ever draft a quarterback before the earliest I feel like drafting a quarterback is like 3rd round usually. But
so yeah, I think that's kind of where we're at. I think overall, the biggest jump for me would be Josh Jacobs is going to be in top 5 in my opinion. I think
definitely.
He goes top 5 with the way he played this season. Obviously, Jefferson, Chase, Kupp were already in round 1. Usually, McCaffrey was there, Eckler was there. Adams was going like late 1st, early 2nd. Maybe you could jump him up, but overall, like I said, Josh Jacobs would be the biggest.
I feel like Devontae was going. I think he's going I think he got drafted like 8 to 12.
Yeah, like I said, late 1st round.
I guess I would have.
I
was thinking like the actual draft, not like fantasy, obviously.
And then also, Jonathan Taylor should go down. I'll say that.
Yeah, he's definitely not the number 1 overall pick in most drafts, but I feel like if he doesn't fall, and I feel like he falls early. I feel like he falls late 1st round, very minimum.
Yeah, very late.
Because his upside is just too good not to take up on it. And if they can get a young quarterback that's very mobile, plus with the weapons they have in Pittman and
Alec Pierce.
I couldn't remember his name. Like with those weapons, like they could definitely make something happen. So I don't know. I do like the Colts offense if they get a younger rookie that, or at least maybe not. It doesn't have to be a rookie, but either a mobile rookie or like a quarterback that is a little bit more mobile, so they can have a little bit more.
I also see
play.
Saquon jumping up from where he went because he was going like 3rd round, I think.
No, it was like 2nd.
Not, really? Yeah, it might
Yeah.
have been 2nd, but he could be 1st round now.
Yeah, I think he might be like the top. I think he might be the 10th spot. He could be the 10th spot.
All right, well, I hope we answered your question. Thank you for the question. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. We love to answer fantasy, football. Maybe we have a personal question that's not too personal. We got you as well. But this is In The Slant. We will see y'all next week, hopefully with Jared. We're saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go ahead and click here to subscribe and, of course, to watch some more.